But so we're starting with, do you have Huey's and Paul's? Here's Huey's, and you have Paul's right there.
Yep, that's right.
All right, fantastic. So my prediction was right. Huey is on blue-white. I assume a similar list to Ephro? Almost the same. It looks... No, not quite the same.
So it looks like opting for 4 divination. That's pretty.
So this one,
pretty common,
but only 1 quicken, and he does have spheres. So somewhere in between the two lists.
That's right, and I think that allows a lot for player preference.
Yep.
Blue-white especially, you have to be comfortable with what you want to have, and somehow that actually appears as more important than what is intrinsically better. And I think that comes from that there's no intrinsically better. There's just nothing that's just better.
Yep, exactly. And Paul has a spicy one. It looks like.
This is up my alley.
You like this one?
Yeah. We have a Basara Tower Archer. First appearance I've seen it in play. Is basically we're playing Hexproof here.
So this is Naya Hexproof, I believe.
Yep, and nothing too outlandish. We have the Madcap skills. We have the Ethereal Armor. We have Unflinching Courage. We have a Johnny Collar of the Pride. Oh. Yes, yeah, and then we have a Celestia Charm and Boros Charm. So they're getting ready to go. And
nice.
We're going to go down in a little bit here.
So anything else sweet in there? So the Hexproof guys are Witchstalker, Visara Tower Archer, and Glade Cover Scout.
That's right.
And then there's Voice, which doesn't technically have Hexproof, but you don't really want to kill that guy either.
A relevant card from the sideboard is going to be Skylasher.
Ooh, interesting.
That'll be a really tricky one.
All right. So Huey also leading off with an Azorius Guild Gate. Strictly worse than a Blue-White Temple, but still not bad. One thing I've noticed about Hexproof is because you need both creatures and enchantments in your opening hand, it tends to mulligan a lot. So Paul getting to keep his 7 is pretty good for him.
Luckily, with a deck like Hexproof, you often win the game with 2 cards you don't use.
Yes.
So mulliganing to 5 feels devastating, honestly.
Yes.
You might not need them
if you have a 5-card hand that goes like Glade Cover Scout into double Ethereal Armor or whatever, you're probably a heavy favorite.
You could draw your cards face down starting turn 3. It might be okay.
Yeah. Another card that Paul has in his deck that is pretty awesome is Ajani Collar of the Pride. The card kind of had a breakout performance at the Pro Tour. There was 2 Ajani decks in the top 8, Green, White, and Naya. And it looks like he has one in his hand here.
This is aggressive. So he's off to a quick start. He might, I don't know if he has the Tetris Sphere in his hand already, but he might need to even figure out what he's going to be up to here.
Sphere isn't great against Hexproof guys, but you can just sphere the enchantments that are on them.
Okay, so he does have the Supreme Verdict, but it's always a risky proposition. So when he has 2 D-spheres, he might as well throw one out there because he's not doing anything else with this time.
Sure.
And that way he kind of hedges his bets a little bit.
Yep. Paul might have a Boros Charm or something like that to protect from Supreme Verdict.
Ajani is pretty devastating here, but he doesn't actually. Yeah, he does have the Boros Charm, so that would be that just be a really huge devastating moment.
Yep.
A few people are asking in the chat what happened. I was talking a little bit too loud, so I had to slow down a little bit. The loudness, we don't want to give away too much to the players. I don't think we didn't, but it was possible if I got too much more excited.
Yep. Greg Hatch is an easy one to get excited.
Oh my! In
case you haven't noticed, there he goes.
Wow, man, this guy means business.
So double Ethereal Armor does. They each give +2/+2 right now, so that's 5 damage. If Huey hadn't killed the Madcap skills, he would be taking.
Name check.
Oh jeez. So Huey would have taken a ton of damage last turn, 5 more, but as it turns out, he did sphere the skills and still had 1 for the spheres. So now...
It's too bad there's nothing like Wax Wayne or something, something to get rid of these detention spheres.
That would be nice. There's Wear and Tear.
In the sideboard, he has not a thing. So these detention spheres are 100% gold.
He will bring in Boros Charm and a Johnny's Presence to help give his guys indestructible and protect.
Yeah, Johnny's Presence breathes some new life into this deck as a 1-mana way to
so that's interesting. So with a Johnny minus ability that gives double strike and flying, and the 2 Selesnya Charms in Paul's hand, he could just lethal Huey next turn.
Ooh, and, Huey might be aware, as is typical of a deck like this, that I might die at any moment.
Yes.
I might just be dead.
So if Huey played Jason plus it here, and Paul drew a land, Paul would just win or no, that's not. That is true. Yes, because the 2 charms would make the scout up to 6/6.
Yep, and that's
minus
12.
-1 is 5. With double strike is 10, and he's a 9.
That's all it took. And there's another piece of it too that even if William had something like a divination, there's no way he could cast it here if he's afraid of it. But he might need to if he's already resigned to the idea that well, if he has it, I'm dead.
So one thing that you have to do with control decks some of the time is just say, if he has it, I'm dead. But if he doesn't have it, I'm going to put myself in the best position possible.
I guess Paul might still need a land, though.
Yeah, I think Paul does need a land.
But he can get him down to 4, perhaps.
Yes, he can still put him low. Oh, Huey is going to risk it. Wow.
So what he did
this
here
is an exciting draw step.
He realized that maybe there's no way you can win without a divination.
Yes. So here we go. A land will do it. He's going to draw it slowly.
Oh, that'll do it too.
Does it?
Yeah, that should
So no, because the ethereal armor is +1, that's 3. Charm is no, but because it wasn't a Jace. Yeah, so that should do it.
Yep.
I believe Huey is dead. Paul's just doing the math.
I think he's probably going to want to do the. Well, yeah, I guess you could double strike right now, get him to 3, and then you could Boros Charm. Or you could play Celestial Charm. Which one would you want him to see? I wonder.
Not sure.
Yeah,
probably Celestia Charm, because you might even board that one out.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, he goes for the Boros Charm. Yeah, I agree with you about Celestial Charm. That's a good point.
So maybe sometimes it feels safer to just get the damage through and not see it, make sure they don't have anything tricky. Because you know they don't have instant speed life gain, but maybe you're a little bit scared of instant speed removal. Although for just a white, I can't think of anything in standard.
Yeah, it would have to be something like, Condemn or something new that came out. But I don't think anything was like that.
No, not that I know of.
Yeah, me neither.
Dismember,
Or like something like,
Sure.
If they're aggressive like Devouring Light, but really, you have to know you're safe against the white, I think.
Yeah. All right, so Huey's boarding. Let's see what he's reaching for. Last Breath.
That divination was pretty gutsy, though. That's pretty a resigned one. It's like, you know what? If he has it, he has it. I can't.
But I mean, he could have left up Azorius Charm, but he didn't actually. You can't Azorius Charm a Hexproof guy anyway. So like, what was he supposed to do? Like maybe leaving up mana would make Paul a bit more scared.
That's what I was thinking. But there's no real card that does that. He knows he's not playing Celestial Flare. I mean.
So Huey's reaching for Charms and Dissolves as potential board outs. Last Breath, Archangel. Last Breath is probably a good board in. Huey, even though he didn't see it, probably guesses that Paul has Voice in his deck.
Yeah, that's typical of these decks.
Paul going to bring in a Johnny's Presence and Boros Charm to have more indestructibles, so he gets more resilient against Supreme Verdict.
Exactly.
The Johnny's Presence in particular is sick because you can strive it.
Yeah, it's good early, good late.
Yes.
And it's awesome that a 1 mana answer, basically it's like a Mizium skin in a way, in certain decks that want to just have an answer to Abrupt Decay or answer to, different cards that you usually can't protect against Supreme Verdict. There's so many cards now that allow you to protect yourself when you couldn't protect yourself before.
Yep.
So that card really filled a void that, in the same way that Hexproof already needed. I like that both players are playing Fiend Slayer Paladin.
Oh yeah, that is pretty funny. Their decks are so different, and yet they have this card in common.
Yeah, for totally different reasons.
Yep.
Ratchet Bomb is going to be an interesting card. So, you want to draw that early, but you don't necessarily have to because on 1 it's still super powerful.
Yes, that's definitely coming in. I would guess.
Skylasher is going to be great, and we'll have to see if William is really prepared for Skylasher because that's the kind of card that can catch you really out of left field, especially if you Last Breath before you Azorius Charm or something similar.
Sure, yeah.
There's a lot of different decisions he's going to have to make.
I'm actually not sure how many charms he was even leaving in.
Yeah, it might be 0 exactly.
Yeah. It looks like he's mostly reaching for Dissolve.
I like that it looks like he's trying to keep Dissolve in, maybe. And I think that's not a bad choice if you're on the play. I mean, you got to counter this thing somehow.
Yeah. No, he does not like it. So Last Breath. Last Breath Negate, presumably. I think Archangel I saw.
Yep, there's 2 Archangel, which that has to come in.
Yep. So Last Breath
Deicide's definitely coming in.
Okay, Last Breath Negate, Archangel, Deicide in.
Yeah, Deicide's nice. It's just
Yep. Yeah. It does not get multiple of the same thing unless it's a god, so...
Does that have to go an enchantment and then if it's a god?
Yeah.
So Mutavault no good? Yeah, I was just thinking about that. That's too bad.
Oh, is Mutavault a god?
Well, it has to be, right?
I guess so. So if you somehow made Mutavault an enchantment, and then...
There's going to be some clone like this.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, this is... Yeah, I mean, we like to stay on topic here at Channel Fireball.
Yeah.
Relevant to the match.
Right.
No, it's... Deicide in general, I think, is...
Wow, did you
underplayed,
notice Paul's mana base here? Pretty funny, I think. 11 temples, 4 of each, but only 3 abandoned.
Even a temple garden. So temple of abandoned, temple of plenty, temple of garden.
Oh, I'm wrong. So, okay.
It's tricky. It's tricky.
Yeah. I do think that's a bit awkward.
Yes.
That,
it's so funny.
My fault. So there's 12 Ravnica dual lands.
Yeah.
And then the 7 temples.
Yeah, wouldn't that be? Yeah, exactly. Like, why don't you play? Come on, you have to play the Rav duels, please.
He put them next to each other on the deck list just to throw me off.
That's too funny. Yeah. I think that I would definitely.
And then 4 mana confluences.
I think I might consider if I was him.
Battlefield Forge.
But you can't because of that hexproof green guy. That's why. Okay.
Oh, Bizarre Tower.
That's too bad.
So he has 4 Sacred Foundries that don't cast it, but that's it. He doesn't want more than that.
But at least he needs the Sacred Foundries for the Chain to the Rocks.
Sure.
But like that's like Battlefield would be.
Oh, so that's interesting. He only has 8 lands for Chain to the Rocks. That's a bit light.
I think he's justifying by playing less Chain to the Rocks, but I'm not sure it works like that. But either way, I've played less, synergistic options before.
Yeah.
Sometimes
the
you just
card
need
is so powerful when it does work.
I agree. You just need it. That's the card you need. If you need it, you need it.
Yeah. So it looks like Paul has a voice in his hand. If Huey doesn't have a Last Breath, that could be a pretty big problem.
I want to say I saw him taking it out. I think he took it out.
Huey did bring in Last Breath.
Oh, he was in his.
He was on the
Yeah. It's definitely better than Azorius Charm, especially if you got Skylasher involved.
Yep.
Man, the mono blue deck with Skylasher is really a piece of work.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's funny. This is pretty funny. I can hear him shuffling at the same time as the screen going.
Yep.
That's interesting.
It is funny.
I was like, man, this TV has audio. There's no way. Huey on 6 cards.
Yep.
The textbook Scryland turn 1.
Yep, this time he does have the temple.
He doesn't have a land that comes. Oh, that looks a lot like.
He's good.
That looks so much like Temple of Enlightenment.
Funny.
The white green one that plains.
Yeah.
I bet that would take quite a bit.
So I believe that was the second voice for Paul. Pretty clutch.
If he kept it on top, it definitely is the second voice.
Yeah.
So he's got he's got all of his colors for the rest of the game. He doesn't have to worry about it. That's the cool thing about decks like this. You can just take a breather. You're getting that right.
Yep. So Huey charming in response to the voice so that Paul doesn't get an elemental.
Yeah, and that's a textbook mistake that you'll make exactly one time. Is when you let it resolve and you Azorius Charm end step and they get a token.
Unfortunately, Huey does not have a land.
Oh man, it would have been. I mean, Last Breath isn't really a waste of a turn, but he really wanted the divination there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In fact, it would have worked out great for him because he would have maybe gotten 2 voices with a sphere if he had drawn the land.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
I can't imagine. Now, do you play divination or sphere here?
I like divination. Well,
there you go.
I mean,
you're as good as Huey.
I'm biased by saying it. The thing is, without 2 islands though, and he has a dissolve, he has to get that double blue. So
Sure.
that pushes it over the edge for me.
Sure. So voice coming into the red zone.
For those who know, staying quiet is not easy. This takes constant effort.
Yeah, definitely.
It's so exciting.
Yeah. If we're ever too quiet, just try to talk in the Twitch chat, and we'll try to correct it.
Absolutely.
But, it is a tough thing to balance.
I will have to practice my whisper yell when the top deck's something like, oh.
Yeah, classic.
Really, yeah. It's a tough mix. We can also just type in.
So he kind of overcommitted here, but with voice out. Oh wow.
So these are some pretty good draws coming from but the Johnny's Presence is a huge blowout.
Yeah. So now he has a token and a hexproof guy still.
Huey under significant pressure, and this Planeswalker's really got to diversify the threats.
Yes.
That diversification is going to require that he's going to have to do some maneuvering, and I'm not sure he has the time.
Yeah, so I assume Paul will put the counter on the hexproof guy. Wait, why is he paying 2 here? Is he trying to make a bluff? Oh no, he's just going for a different play.
I see.
So he wants the Madcap Stills to get in damage, and then try to Johnny for the Hadouken double strike.
Hadouken. Yeah, the old flying double strike Hadouken.
Yeah.
It's basically a Boros charm that gives flying that maybe does something else. Yeah, Johnny typically
Yeah.
it grinds only a little bit, and sometimes it doesn't even matter.
I still think I might have played a Johnny there and put a counter.
I'm with you on the Johnny. I couldn't resist the idea that like Supreme Verdict is so good against him right here.
Yes.
And I think that
I guess Paul singing, if he verdicts, he can end of turn make a dude with charm and then play a Johnny.
This is risky because he's actually showing that he doesn't have Boros charm. So
yes.
So
he could. There was no other way to tap his mana, but
yeah, exactly. But like that might also lean me towards doing the other play,
okay.
so that at least like
sure.
the bluff isn't like additional.
If you play a Johnny, then it's like, oh, you didn't have enough mana for it.
It doesn't even have the verdict though, so things are gonna get really, really awkward really quick.
So what can Huey do here? He can Divination, leaving up a white source, and then try to draw a land to last breath the voice token. He could.
At this point, he's so far behind that I think that you. Well, I mean, he's not so far behind, but like he's in a position where I think divination is critical. So I think I would divination, and he's playing so many temples that the temples that come to play tapped are a very big liability for being able to cast another spell this turn. But to be fair, it's just a 2/2.
Yeah.
So it's not the end of the world. Of
well,
course,
the problem is he might play something.
He doesn't know he has a Johnny, and maybe he's dead already. But I think he doesn't have a choice here.
If Huey does nothing
beautiful.
here,
That's awesome.
So now he can cast Last Breath.
Yep.
Or actually block with Mutavault on the Tower Archer.
And he has negate for the Ajani, which will be lethal, so he'll be forced to counter that. I think I would have done something with Celestial Charm there, but it's kind
you
of...
would have made a 2/2 end of turn?
Depending on what I would have decided like was possible, like based on what my opponent could muster. I didn't give it enough thought, but...
What was that off the top? I did not quite catch that one.
Oh,
oh wow.
Just that.
So now, so it's currently 5 power, goes up to 7, and then a Johnny will be lethal, I believe.
I think he has to counter it. We'll see though. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, no, it's only 9. He doesn't have to counter. But if he doesn't, then Celestial Charm is lethal, and that means that Johnny's still in the fray. All right, it's in. So yeah, William notices. He must have a read here.
Yeah.
So the Celestial Charm end step would have really sealed the game up.
Yeah, but he didn't know he was going to draw Ethereal Armor, in fairness.
Absolutely. But he could have known he was going to draw a land, too. Lands would have worked.
Oh, because land would have been... Sure. Yeah.
Either way, I can understand not doing it.
But land wouldn't even affect anything, right?
I think he has another 2-drop in his hand that does damage.
I think the only 2-drop is the Charm. So...
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to blame him.
Well, it's certainly, you don't have all the time in the world. And plus, I don't know the context of match experience of this deck. There's so many things that you have to play around. Like, you're supposed to keep Celestial Charm against the Wrath, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So William takes 9 here down to 2. Oh wow.
So a great draw, of course.
Yeah. Pretty excellent.
I see a few posts asking why I play the armor. It's not that it's kind of like forcing the issue on the negate. Basically, by not playing negate, it's tempting to do it, and also it brings it to a low life total that everything is lethal, including Celestia Charm's token, and that's huge. Having Celestia Charm token be lethal is a lot better than having access to a slightly bigger creature.
Yeah, the other thing is like if he lets the Wrath, if he has a Wrath, then like Ethereal Armor won't be that good anyway because he doesn't have any other enchantments.
Absolutely.
So like
it's
here it did +2,
yes.
but later it'll only do +1.
I think that's the reason to go home with. Like that's the one that matters. I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that was actually a good play by Paul. The Celestia Charm play is kind of on the border. The end of turn Celestia Charm make a 2/2.
I'm certain that I confident was right, but it definitely would have been like something to choose between.
Yes, it was a close play.
We might see the old Azorius Charm on your voice awkward play.
Oh yeah, well I think Huey can just slam Archangel here potentially, depending on how scared he is of Chain of the Rocks.
I'm just going to answer to Boom Nasty. He has to tap the red mana whenever he casts a red spell. It's his only red source, so he's got no other choice.
Oh no, but he's talking about for this voice.
Oh.
It's a small thing. He probably shouldn't.
No, especially if he doesn't have Boros Charm. It skips it away.
Boros Charm is not much of a bluff right now because Huey's at 2. So if he had it, he probably would have pointed it.
No, but how are you going to slow roll if you don't tap the red ahead of time? So yeah, boom, you're absolutely right. I mean, that's just kind of like it doesn't matter.
It's a small thing. But
Paul doesn't think it matters. It matters in the abstract, and of course it matters. So I'm with you.
Yeah.
But this is a better slow roll. You got to admit it.
So Huey did just go with slamming the Archangel. A little vulnerable to Chain of the Rocks, but,
Well, Archangel is going to get bigger, right? It's going to get to be a 5 something, and then
yes.
you could charm it.
Well,
maybe.
actually, what Paul can do here is a Johnny minus on his voice, and then he will be forced to block.
That's awesome. That should definitely happen.
Yes.
The other, I don't know.
If Paul had drawn an untapped land, I think Huey would just be dead. No, that's not true. Well, yeah, because Paul would first strike down. Yes, Huey would be dead if Paul had drawn an untapped land.
Absolutely, just straight dead.
Because Paul would first strike down the Archangel with 4 damage.
That's right.
And then the other 4 would trample over.
No, dude, I love when the first strike and lifelink interactions are so cool.
Yeah.
Especially in combat, where like the first strike kills something, does lifelink, and then like makes the other guys bigger for 4 normal damage. Either way, obviously Jensen's not happy. So
Paul's thinking here. I assume he sees it at this point, but.
Uh-oh. I see him going to 5. Oh, no, he's got it.
Oh, he did it.
As the die turns.
Yep. So because the first strike only does 2 right now, Huey will get to gain the 3 life here.
In fact, it's... Oh, man. So I was going to say, yeah, it's almost like it gets to live, but it doesn't. It's so close to living.
If Huey had 1 more mana, he could make a really cool play. He could animate his Mutavault and Last Breath it to give the Archangel +1/+1.
I love that stuff. Man, I mean...
So close.
You could always Last Breath the voice restriction, but might as well gain some life out of the deal, right? Might as well get... the Last Breath is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, he could have made that. Oh, yeah, but he doesn't have the mana for it. That's right.
So, he was 1 mana short of having the mana. So instead he just Last Breaths the voice, which, as you said before, is pretty awkward because...
How good would a Johnny's Presence in that situation be?
Oh, Paul forgot to make a token there.
Oh, you can't see, my eyes are bugged out of my head. Just all the way out.
So I'm not sure at this point, since he was untapping with Archangel, I don't think that would have been a big deal. But it is the type of thing that you should remember.
I mean, I think I would have made a token. I'm having a little bit of fun here. No, that's something that's, again, I say this all the time because it's true. It's easy to forget when with voice, like, you can make a token off things that, like, in combat, like, it's just, you're thinking about so much else. It's obviously not something you should forget. I don't advocate forgetting.
Yeah.
But
it's also, like,
it's hard to really curb all
Paul may have been demoralized because it looked like he was going to win the game, and then it suddenly, like, turned around. And so, like, when you're getting demoralized, it's hard to notice things like that. Like,
certainly.
I can definitely sympathize with Paul.
And luckily, it didn't matter one bit.
Yes.
So
if Paul had a 1/1 voice token out.
He just drew Boros Charm. Oh, man.
But Williams at 5.
That is so close. That is brutal. So brutal. Oh, man. It's palpable. You can feel it.
Yeah. He probably should have drawn that 1 turn earlier.
Yeah.
It would have been my advice.
Did he scry anything at the top? So does he have anything that will lose him sleep?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
No, he made the plays were reasonable. It always is. These decks always have different lines, but like sometimes like one reasonable line is better than another reasonable line.
Yeah. So if he wants to, he can Revelation here to give his guys +1/+1. I think he has 2 Revelations, so in theory he could even like Revelation for 1, Revelation for 1.
You're blowing my mind. I love it.
Yeah.
Dude, that's such a cool idea.
I think that might have even been lethal.
The Mutavault wouldn't get pumped though, so loss of value.
All right, there we go. That's why Huey's a pro and I'm here commentating.
Using the big seat. I'm here making. I make the jokes here.
Yeah. I think he actually only had 1 Revelation.
You know what?
Also.
If Angel was 1 power bigger, if he was a 5, he could charm it and then still win.
What's that?
If Angel was a 5/6, he'd be able to Celestia Charm and untap and potentially win.
Oh, interesting.
He only has 1 red source, but like so I don't think it would be possible. But at least it'd be like something to consider.
Sure. Was like Celestia Charm your Angel, Boros Charm you, and then draw another Boros Charm, right? Mm-hmm. If he's Celestia Charm Angel and Boros Charmed Huey now, and then drew another Boros Charm.
Exactly.
But as it is,
you're right. Yeah.
As it is, Huey's just out of range, and not much Paul can do here. I think we're pretty much set on going to game 3.
The defenses are up. The laser beams are pointing around. It's like Star Wars defense here.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah. That game was so close. Yeah. You wonder if there was a way Paul could have taken it down.
So yeah, for those asking in the chat, you can absolutely forget beneficial triggers now. It used to be that like they had these really strict, weird cheating rules surrounding like missed triggers, not missed triggers. Now they're just like that was too complicated. We punished the wrong people. It was not a good rule. No one liked it.
Say may.
Yeah. And now that it's like you don't have to say an ounce of a word to your opponent about anything, and it's just it's not that it's better that way. It's just that it's simpler. Like more, the rules are more sharp, and they're not going to punish people for mistakes anymore.
You do have to still remember your own triggers. Like if you're at 1 life and don't want to remember Dark Confident, that's
And not, kind of like I'm not a lawyer, like I'm not a judge, but like from like an experience of playing with like a lot of judge interaction, it's just so tough to implement trigger rules in general this one was like just the one that at least they have a line that didn't piss anybody off.
Yep. So Huey's going back to his sideboard now. Not sure if he'll change too much. He might want something different because he's on the draw, but I'm not positive.
I wonder what. Being on the draw is a tough place to be. When you're against the hexproof player, you have a really good start.
Yeah. So Huey's on the draw against hexproof, which means that Supreme Verdict might be too late, or is more likely to. And Detention Sphere is a turn. Like every card being a turn later is just so huge. Like that game was so close. If Paul was on the play there, it would have been an easy win for him, I think.
I definitely agree. I think that Skylasher on the play is kind of devastating too. All the turns, if things do go well, he still has that option to go. It's like the Celestia Charm with no other abilities to prevent you from playing it.
Yep.
So it'll be out there. It's the best I can do. There's another option.
Is Paul boarding out Skylasher?
Well, I don't like that. He knows what he's doing. It's his deck. I don't play Hexproof.
Yeah, neither do I. But my gut is that
he has Gift over Oshova in the deck, and I think that's to get over Elspeth tokens, which I actually think is not that bad.
Yeah,
an idea.
Maybe that's better than Courage or whatever else he's.
It could be better than Courage, especially if Courage makes it Elspeth killable.
Yeah, I don't mind that, but the Skylashers on the board are not doing it for me. And I'm not sure what else.
I like the uncounterable. I do. I gotta say I like it there. One thing about Paul is that, being on the play, the only enemy you have is not curving out.
Yes.
So you really have your own mini game.
Maybe he feels like, maybe he just feels like he needs all the spells because he had to bring in these Boros Charms and Ajani's Presences, but he still needs all these enchant creatures, auras that his deck is built around because his guys are so bad on their own, right? It's hard to fit everything in. Like maybe he has to cut like some creature for Skylasher if he wants to add it. Like should he cut the Tower Archer?
And it's weird because unlike other decks, Control has a lot more freedom. Red Burn can go heavy towards burn, heavy towards creature, but in the Hexproof deck, it's just 20-20-20.
Yeah,
we need the creature,
mix.
We need the aura, we need the land. And so if you don't have all three,
so maybe he was concerned about diluting his deck. But
the ratios have to be
about that. I feel like maybe Skylasher could swap for Tower Archer because Skylasher almost has Hexproof in this matchup. Because it can get Last Breath.
I still like Skylasher better. I mean, I'm with you on Skylasher. Yep. I think Celestia Charm has it's about the same as Skylasher in many ways, but I kind of want both. I like both of those cards.
So it seems like Tower Archer is probably a card that
you actually get in a situation where you can't even cast Tower Archer.
That's another argument for the Lasher. Yeah, his mana base is built such that it's pretty hard for that to happen. The only land that doesn't cast it is the Foundry, but it still could happen for sure.
I wonder if you put in a Chain of the Rocks as a low sample size to deal with a Archangel at the end.
I don't remember seeing it when he went through his sideboard.
Me either.
Maybe he did bring it in.
We'll see. I mean, it would be it'd be awesome. It is a 1 mana answer to that card that Huey's going to expect a 2 mana answer from.
My gut is that it's better to just have the attitude of if he plays an Archangel, I have to kill him that turn or make him chump block with it like he did that game, or like he tried to do that game. Then actually bring in removal for it. It's too costly otherwise.
It doesn't really answer Mutavault Vault very well.
Yeah.
Unless you can bait a block on Glade Cover Scout.
Chain does have a little extra value in this deck compared to other ones because it works with Ethereal Armor. It counts as an enchantment for that. You can actually play it even if they don't have a guy out.
It's not like the old punishing, flank.
Oh yes.
It doesn't target your own guys.
It only does enemy guys, I believe. So.
That's funny. Now they used to have just no forgiveness.
Oh,
if you played something and you had a creature out and your opponent didn't for some reason,
you're
targeting your own guy and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
These days,
even Oblivion Ring can target.
Dude, they protect yourself from yourself these days. These cards really make sure you have a seatbelt on.
Yeah. So, okay, it looks like Paul's hand is Sacred Foundry, Stomping Ground, Selesnya Charm, Ajani, Witchstalker, Sorry, Tower Archer, Madcap skills? That's a pretty solid hand.
I mean, it's not one you can mulligan, that's for sure. He did have the second land, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
He
so-
has. Oh, I know what the problem is. He has the Sacred Foundry with the Tower Archer. I mean, it would have been impossible to predict that.
Yeah, who could have thought that would come up?
Oh man.
Oh, he's got it for the Chain to the Rocks.
Yeah.
So I don't have to eat my fist just yet.
Yeah. I'm just saying it could have been a Skylash.
Would have been good.
Would have been good.
Hey, would have been nice.
So he's playing the Stomping Ground on turn 1, so he still has outs to draw a land to cast it. It looks like he did not get there.
He drew another
Oh
tower.
no.
Oh no! I mean, it's hard to cut Tower Archer. It's not a thing you can do.
Yeah, it's a hexproof feature in your hexproof deck. Like.
Oh, this is. Oh no.
So it looks like he's just going to go for making a Selesnya Charm, dude. But that guy is a lot more vulnerable to removal. Just cast it main phase to resolve it.
What does Huey got going on? I know we don't have to worry about it just yet because his turns are going to be pretty simple. I'm told he might be light on lands.
Let's see. Wow. Did not see that coming.
Maybe his 2-drops were just so good, but that doesn't seem right. I mean,
yeah, he did have Charm and Last Breath.
This is a risky move.
Oh, and Paul there drew the second green source.
So yeah.
Pretty clutch.
Now it's going to be an uphill battle for Jensen the rest of the way.
So a few more updates for you guys. Sam Black lost this round 1-2. Sam Pardee won 2-0, and Tom Martell won 2-0. So we saw Tom lose the last round, so he's at 3-1 now. Sam, I believe, won both.
Yeah, Sam Pardee, I think go both.
So
Sam Black lost
4-0.
Twice now, yeah.
Sam Black's lost twice now. Ooh, that's tough.
Yeah, and then Martell.
Martell's 3-1.
That's right.
3-1, yeah. Not positive on Sam's.
So you drew the land.
Huey did draw the land.
And
Charms away the knight. The Madcap skills just goes to the graveyard. Paul was reaching to put the Madcap skills on the bottom, but that's not how that card works.
I was thinking of putting the token on top of the library just for value.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the Witch Stalker's a great play here, so he's forced to do a verdict eventually. And now he's in a place where Last Breath isn't going to do it for him.
Yep.
I noticed that he didn't Last Breath in response to the Madcap skills.
I actually think it might have been a mistake for Paul to put the Madcap skills on the knight. Maybe just wait for a hexproof guy. Like, he had already drawn the land for it.
I'm with you on that. But I think after doing that, I might have just Last Breath instead of Azorius Charm.
Oh, from Huey's perspective?
Yeah.
Because you want to cycle the Azorius Charm? Yeah, well, looks like Huey did get there.
Well, I mean, if he wins this game, seriously, this is about as bad as a start as you can get against a hexproof deck. And so we have a real game now, and it's going to be interesting because it's all uphill for William. And it could be that he still doesn't come back, but he's in a position now where he's at a reasonable life total.
Yeah.
He's not in direct pressure for losing, and
we know he has Supreme Birth.
Yeah. So he has, he's already killed the Planeswalker, which that's sometimes you want to save the Planeswalker till after the Wrath, but sometimes you just can't help yourself. You just got to get in there.
So interesting. Paul went for Ethereal Armor here over Gift of the Orsova. Wonder why he's saving it.
I think it's to play the Archer.
Oh, he wants to get the Archer down for more pressure.
Which is weird because the only answer he has is a Supreme Verdict, so he's just going to lose it.
Yes. So I think my gut would have been to just play the Gift, but not positive.
Well, he could just morph a land and then cast it, right?
So,
you can just play it face down, right? Is that right?
Oh yeah.
It's called Terraform. It's the new mechanic. Terraforming. Play it face down. Oh, that's too bad. All right. Well.
So Huey Divination there. I don't know if he had any outs.
I do like a good one-land hand comeback, but when you have one land, it's not much you can do.